Warning! This video contains spoilers to Marvel's Spider-Man 2, the game. If you wish not to be spoiled, it's suggested that you not watch this video, go play the game for yourself, then come back to this video later for the discussion. Consider this your one and only warning.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, web swingers and wall crawlers? ELT here. Welcome back to the network, and today we are swinging into the action with one of the most highly anticipated games of the year, that being Marvel's Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 5. Since the game launched a few weeks ago, I've beaten the game not once, but twice, and spent over 70 hours in Insomniac's Spider-Man universe, and I'm so glad that I got to play through this game twice before making this video, as it allowed me to get past the hype of the launch. It allowed me to fully digest my thoughts about the game. It allowed me to get past the, I guess you could say, honeymoon stage. It allowed me to really give you guys my honest thoughts about the game and its story. Now, before we dive into the web swinging goodness, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you'll never miss out on any future uploads. With that out of the way, let's talk about the friendly neighborhood Spider-Men and their latest adventure.
I'm so getting fired.
As a massive fan of the first game and the iconic character, I've been eagerly awaiting the arrival of Marvel's Spider-Man 2, and I know many of you have as well. So, is this sequel a worthy successor to the original, or does it get tangled in its own web of expectations? Let's break it down in this pros and cons review. Now, before we dive into the pros and cons of Marvel's Spider-Man 2, I want to make something abundantly clear. The criticisms you're about to hear come from a place of love. As passionate fans of the game and its characters, it's our responsibility to discuss both the strengths and weaknesses to facilitate meaningful conversations and improvements. If we just go around saying everything is great all the time and go around kissing the developers' asses 24/7, then we're never going to see any improvements or any innovation in the franchise. And it's my aim to never discredit the hard work that was put into this game, but rather to offer constructive criticism and feedback and insights. After all, it's our shared passion for these virtual universes and their heroes that drives us and makes us expect the best. So, with that in mind, buckle up and let's talk Marvel's Spider-Man 2. The good, the not so good, and everything in between.
You okay? Yeah, but I think we found him. Marco!
Let's kick things off with a web-swinging, ass-kicking pro that I can't get enough of, that being the gameplay. If you played the first game and the mild spin-off, you might wonder if the sequel brings anything new to the table, and the answer is an emphatic yes. Starting off with the combat, a cornerstone of the Spider-Man games. In this sequel, Insomniac has taken the foundation of the first game and given it a robust upgrade. The fights are dynamic, intense, and an absolute thrill. The expanded moveset, coupled with the slick combos and the introduction of a parry button, make almost every brawl feel like a carefully choreographed dance that's going to take some time to master. Spidey's agility, strength, and quick thinking are all at your disposal. The enemies are diverse, and the addition of new enemy types keep things fresh and challenging, like the archer hunters who hide out in the shadows and on the walls and shoot arrows and nets at you from afar, or the mechanical dogs who let out some kind of pulse that disables certain abilities of yours that make them top priority to take out first in combat. And one aspect that stands out like a beacon in Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is the inclusion of the health bar during boss fights. This may seem like a small change, but it is a game changer in more ways than one. Anyone who played the first game might recall those boss encounters. They were thrilling, but sometimes you couldn't help but wonder, is this it? Or is there another phase? The absence of a visible health bar left you guessing when the tide would turn or when a cutscene would trigger. Spider-Man 2 solves this issue. Now, as you engage in those epic battles with iconic villains, you have a clear indicator of progress. The health bar gives you immediate feedback on how close you are to victory. The addition not only adds to the gameplay's tension, but also enhances the overall experience. Also, the new finishing moves and takedowns, along with the return of some old ones, look absolutely incredible and help add the cinematic flair to every confrontation. Speaking of cinematic flair, now let's talk about traversal. What was already a high point of the first game gets even better in the sequel. Web swinging is, without a doubt, the best it has ever been. Spidey's movements are fluid, and you'll feel the exhilaration as you traverse the city. And now, with the ability to tweak the swinging assistance down in the options menu, the physics are much more realistic and feel a lot more like Spider-Man 2 on the PS2. The only thing I wish they would add in the sequel is the ability to climb up your web lines like you could in the Ultimate Spider-Man games. And let's not forget about the introduction of the web wings. God, do I love the web wings.
The web wings? They're flying!
These add an extra layer to the traversal experience. The freedom to soar and dive at high speeds is simply spectacular. They are both functional and visually dynamic. Insomniac Games have truly crafted the best traversal in any Spider-Man game, hands down. Now, that being said, there is one small, minor nitpick with the traversal. And it's kind of funny that, like I said, the traversal is amazing, everything from the web swinging to wall running to gliding, it's all great, but for the love of all things holy, why is the wall crawling still so broken at times? Spider-Man has no problems crawling up a flat surface, but God forbid you try to turn a corner or crawl over a small ledge. He just looks so helpless, and it's sad but hilarious at the same time. Alright, so gameplay is a major pro when it comes to Marvel's Spider-Man 2. And now let's get into a con, and it saddens me to say this because I was really hoping that they would blow me away with this. And I enjoyed this at first, but having beaten the game now twice, the story, it's a bit of a mess. The first game and even the mild spin-off delivered a gripping narrative that tugged at our heartstrings and kept us at the edge of our seats. Sadly, Marvel Spider-Man 2 doesn't quite replicate that emotional impact. The first game was a roller coaster ride of emotions. It struck a balance between Peter Parker's personal struggle and the epic battle against formidable villains. It made us laugh, it made us cry, and it made us feel deeply connected to the characters. However, in Marvel Spider-Man 2, something feels a bit amiss. While the story is by no means poor, it lacks the same emotional resonance as its predecessor. It tries to recapture that magic, but the formula seems slightly diluted. It follows similar story beats to the first one, where Mr. Negative is the main villain for the first half and Doc Ock by Act 3, but now it's KRAVEN for the first half and Venom for Act 3. Also, it does that whole city in crisis thing again, where in the first game it was the Devil's Breath outbreak, but in this game it's a symbiote invasion. How, original.
He copied my whole fucking flow! Word for word, bar for bar!
Some of the plot twists don't hit as hard as they should, and character interactions, though entertaining at times, don't always evoke the same level of empathy. This, however, is a testament to how high the bar was set by the first game, and let's be clear, this isn't to say the story is complete garbage, far from it. It's engaging with intriguing developments and an array of villains to tangle with, but for those who anticipated the same emotional gut punches and heartwarming connections, there's a sense of something lacking. And in some instances, it feels as if they may have tried too hard, and in others, they didn't try hard enough. I guess you could say the story is
brilliant but lazy.
Now, one aspect of the story that might leave fans somewhat divided is KRAVEN the Hunter's presence. As an iconic Spider-Man villain, KRAVEN certainly has the potential to be a compelling character. However, in Marvel's Spider-Man 2, he occasionally comes across as somewhat underutilized. Here, KRAVEN's character often feels like it's not fully capitalized upon. He's set up as a formidable adversary, but for a significant portion of the game, he remains in the background, letting his minions handle much of the work. They're the ones who are rounding up the villains to bring to him, and instead of getting the cunning and relentless hunter we expect, he feels somewhat detached from the action. While this approach contributes to the game's larger narrative and provides moments of intrigue, it can also make KRAVEN feel somewhat disconnected from the events of the game. And for a character who's typically known for his hands-on, one-on-one approach, it was an interesting choice to keep him in the background for as long as they did. And Jim Peary did such an amazing job as KRAVEN that it's just so disappointing that we didn't get more of him. I was hoping that he would be similar to how Taskmaster was in the first game, but dialed up even more, and that we were constantly on our toes and on the lookout cause he could strike us from out of nowhere at any time during free roam as a part of his hunt. But sadly, that's not the direction Insomniac Games went with. Now, despite this, KRAVEN's character is not without merit. He still showcases his strengths as a tactician and hunter, like in the cutscene where he killed Scorpion and his few direct confrontations with the Spider-Man, but for those who anticipated more consistent face-to-face encounters with the character like myself, it just left me wanting more.
I see a man. I sense a beast.
And speaking of wanting more, let's talk about the black suit and Venom, because there's a lot of pros and cons to talk about there. Starting off with a pro, and that being the designs of both the black suit and Venom. First, let's talk about the black symbiote suit. This suit, which merges with Peter Parker, retains a classic look fans have come to love over the years. Its sleek, jet black appearance, along with the giant white connected spider on the front and back, showcases a modern yet fateful interpretation. I love how the suit looks like a living alien creature bonded to Peter, and how it evolves as the story progresses. And then, the design of Venom is, in one word, menacing. The imposing, hulking figure of Harry Osborn transformed into this monstrous creature radiates an aura of terror. The intricate detailing on his symbiotic skin and luminescent eyes give a sinister and formidable appearance, completely blowing away any Venom design we've ever seen on the big screen. However, both the Black Suit Spider-Man and Venom fall victim to the same problems KRAVEN and this overall story has, and that is, it's lackluster. Since it was teased during the post-credits scene in the 2018 game, one of the big selling points to Marvel's Spider-Man 2 was its introduction of the iconic black symbiote suit, and it's regrettable to note that this arc falls short in delivering the compelling experience that I have hoped for. One of the primary issues is that the black symbiote suit often feels underutilized. You never truly harness the full extent of its power. Previous titles and Spider-Man media explored this transition from the classic red and blue suit to the symbiote-infused black suit in a more immersive and engaging manner. In contrast, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 falls short in making the player feel the true weight of the symbiote's influence. The story arc unfolds at a pace that feels rushed, which ultimately affects the emotional connection you build with Peter Parker's journey as he grapples with the symbiote. You never truly witness his hero on the verge of becoming a villain performance. You never get that pivotal moment where you feel he must shed the suit to save himself, like in the 90s animated series where he almost kills Rhino and Shocker, or in Spider-Man 3 where he murders Sandman just minutes into getting the suit. He then proceeds to blow off half of Harry Osborn's face and backhand MJ at a nightclub. Where in this game, he chases after MJ one time, while being asleep I might add, she also never confronts him about this or tells him about it, which is weird. And he also says a few mean things to Harry and doesn't answer Miles' phone calls. And that's just about it. I feel like Insomniac needed to push the envelope more with Peter and the suit, but I feel as if they decided to play it safe. And Yuri Lowenthal does give us a good performance with what he was given, but it comes nowhere near as close to Christopher Daniel Barnes, Josh Keaton, and the legendary Bully Maguire as Black Suit Spidey.
I need that suit back.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Now, by the third act, this game borrows a lot from Web of Shadows with the whole symbiote invasion of New York, but I wish they would have also borrowed from Web of Shadows where the Black Symbiote arc was a focal point. The internal struggle between Peter Parker and the symbiote was a captivating experience that was woven into gameplay and narrative seamlessly. The black suit had an entirely different moveset in that game, where in this game it's just a couple of abilities that you can't even use all the time because they're behind a long cooldown timer. Why can't I use these symbiote tendrils all the time? Why don't I have unlimited webbing? Why do I feel exactly the same as I did in the classic suit? Where is the power? Also, I wish that they gave us the ability to switch between the classic suit and symbiote suit with the touch of a button like in Web of Shadows, instead of having to go through suit menus. And when you think about it, the internal struggle that Peter goes through in his mind was never really fully shown to us. Instead, they give that story arc to Miles and Mr. Negative, which makes sense for a Miles storyline, but I was kind of hoping that they would do the same for Peter, but they never did. How cool would it have been to have a boss battle inside Peter's mind where you play as classic Spider-Man fighting against the symbiote, which would have been a cool throwback to the 90s animated series or Spectacular Spider-Man. But in the end, the Black Symbiote Spider-Man arc in Marvel Spider-Man 2, while intriguing, leaves with a sense of missed potential. It feels underwhelming with a storyline that's over too quickly and a lack of exploration of the full spectrum of the symbiote's influence. It falls short of the bar set by previous Spider-Man games and media, making us yearn for a more impactful portrayal of Peter's struggle with his dark alter ego.
Come on, let's move.
And then there's Venom. Venom's introduction in Marvel Spider-Man 2 is nothing short of spectacular. From the moment you take control of him, not only does the story dramatically start picking up, but it's also a nostalgic journey reminiscent of playing Ultimate Spider-Man on PS2. The ability to embody this iconic anti-hero is a thrilling experience that instantly tugged at my childhood memories. A major pro is the inclusion of Tony Todd as the voice of Venom. His commanding and menacing performance brings the character to life in ways that was truly captivating. Todd's rendition of Venom is a masterclass in voice acting, delivering a performance that lingers in your mind long after you finished playing.
MJ.
Oh, hell no!
However, it is disappointing that our time to play as Venom is limited to just one mission. Going back to the story, it leaves you craving more of this intense dynamic between Spider-Man and his notorious nemesis, as Venom's presence in the overarching storyline feels somewhat underwhelming again, mirroring the same issue I had with Kraven the Hunter. And if you're anything like me and watched the 90s animated series growing up, or played Spider-Man 2000 on the PS1, or read any of the late 90s comics with Venom, then you would know that Venom is, for a lack of a better word, he's a bit of a troll. In fact, he's the ultimate troll to Peter Parker, and one of the big cons is that in this game, it doesn't delve deep enough into the psychological mind games that Venom often employs against Spider-Man. The character's psychological torment is a central aspect of the Venom Spider-Man dynamic. This is an aspect that could have been explored more thoroughly, and this goes back to what I said earlier about this game's story feeling rushed. Now, this game's story is just about as long as it was in the first game, which is about 15 to 20 hours to beat the main story and 30 hours to complete everything. Now, that length was perfect for the first game, but for this game, I feel as if it would have benefited the game to be just a little bit longer, maybe say 10 more hours. Give me 5 more hours to play as Bully Lowenthal and 5 more hours of Venom wreaking havoc, because one can't help but feel that the potential of Venom's presence in this game remains somewhat untapped. Given the depth of their history, it's natural to expect a more intricate interaction between the two characters and a deeper exploration of the psychological warfare that often defines their encounters. But instead, Venom just goes off on his journey to heal the world, and much like KRAVEN the Hunter, he lets his minions do all the work for him. Also, do you remember that concept art we got earlier this year of Venom chasing after Peter and Miles throughout the city, and the CGI trailer we got of them fighting in the streets? Yeah, all of that was just a lie for marketing purposes, because that never happens at all in this game. And that is just completely frustrating, because I was so looking forward to that moment in the game where we would be fighting Venom throughout this huge city with the graphical power of the PS5 in full force, but like I said, it just never happens. In sum, while Venom's introduction and Tony Todd's performance are highlights in Marvel Spider-Man 2, there's also a sense of unfulfilled potential. The limited playtime as Venom and the desire for a more substantial exploration of his relationship with Spider-Man once again left me yearning for more. But hey, here's hoping that Insomniac is currently cooking a Venom spin-off game, and that one mission we got to play as him was just a tease of what's to come. Fingers crossed. Okay, so the last major thing I want to talk about is this game's side missions, and I'm going to put this in the Pro section. Compared to its predecessor, these side quests have seen significant improvements and for the most part offer more than just filler content. They come with meaningful storylines that not only enrich the game's narrative, but also lay the groundwork for future installments.
And when the crimson hour rolls over this earth, it shall bring truth, judgment, and carnage.
The side missions offer a mixed bag of emotions. While some are designed for thrilling action and intense battles, others are heartwarming and at times profoundly sad. These missions tug at your heartstrings, creating an emotional connection between the players and the characters involved. The side missions in Marvel Spider-Man 2 are far from mere distractions. They provide a glimpse into the lives of various characters within the Spider-Man universe, each with their unique struggles, aspirations, and challenges. Completing these missions feels rewarding, as they often resonate with the human side of our beloved superheroes. Overall, the side missions in Marvel Spider-Man 2 are a significant improvement over the previous game. They offer not just compelling gameplay, but also emotional depth, setting up the stage for what's to come in Insomniac's Spider-Man universe.
I can get my own suit.
Ma.
Maybe. Algo con brillo.
Ma, stop. Stop. Stop it. Get out of here. Dance with me. Show me how to salsa.
Alrighty, so now that we talked about the gameplay, the story, and the side missions, let's now get into what I'm going to call the rapid fire section of this review, where I'll give you a mixed bag of some pros and cons that I had with the game before giving it my final score. Warning: some of these are a little nitpicky. Pro: Miles Morales has seen improvements since his spin-off game. He feels much more powerful, has better gadgets, and his old and new electric abilities are great for taking out hordes of enemies. Con: Peter Parker feels nerfed a lot of times throughout this game's story. Miles is constantly having to save him. He has several near-death experiences and actually dies before the symbiote suit revives him. this definitely does not feel like the same Peter Parker who fought the Sinister Six with 14 broken bones. Pro, the graphics are amazing. Everything from the city skyscrapers to the trees in the park to the lighting looks incredible. Also, you get ray tracing no matter what mode you play on, fidelity or performance. This truly feels like a next-gen game. Con, Peter Parker's new face model still doesn't work that well in this game. He looks way too young and not like someone who has been Spider-Man for 9+ years and is now a mentor to Miles. I mean, they both look around the same age. Also, yes, I know, MJ has the same face model from the PS4 game, but seriously, what the hell happened here? And speaking of MJ, Pro, MJ missions have been improved. But, Con, MJ missions are still a thing. Also, did Brian Intihar say that they actually cut content out in order to keep MJ missions in the game?
I wanted her. I felt like it would be taking the easy way out if we didn't make her play. To the point where I said, we're going to do it. I don't care. We'll cut other stuff because I want to make sure that it's important to show her be a capable hero. I don't care. We'll cut other stuff. We'll cut other stuff. Cut other stuff.
Bro, the fast travel systems are the best fast travel systems in any game I ever played. Con, post-game random events need improvements. Car chases are boring and need more action. Why do the criminals just drive around perfectly around the same 4 blocks? Why are there still KRAVEN hunters and symbiotes appearing after the end of the story? It makes no sense. And why do I need to bring this same fucking guy to the hospital every time? Dude, just stay home already. And Insomniac should really take notes from the other Spider-Man 2 game on PS2 and add some more variety to their random events. How about stopping a sinking boat? Or saving a construction worker from falling? Sorry, I know I went on a bit of a tangent there. Bro, no longer having to go through a weapon wheel to use your gadgets is great, but Con, some gadgets that I liked in the first game are missing, like the impact web, the web bomb, and trip mines. Pro, the addition of the Black Raimi suit and the TASM 2 suit are incredible. Con, does all of Tom Holland's Spidey suits need to be in this game? The black and gold and stealth suits feel unnecessary. Also, where the hell is Peter's Spider-Verse suit? Con, the hideous new suit that Miles wears towards the end of the game is not a Miles original 1-of-1 like he says. He actually made his original 1-of-1 in his spin-off game, and technically this is his 3rd original suit since he has the classic suit, his advanced suit at the beginning of this game, and now this monstrosity. Also, it's kind of funny when you think about it. Symbiotes were taking over New York, and Miles thought that now was the best time to create a hideous suit. And last but not least, the ending of this game makes no sense. Now walk with me for a minute here. So, after Harry loses his suit for the first time, Norman gets to work on a new cure for him, right? Okay, so when Harry does get the suit back, Norman sees that his son has been taken over by the symbiote and turns into the monstrous Venom, right? He even sends Oscorp guards after him to get the suit off, in which they fail to do so and actually try to kill him. Now, Harry eventually does go back to the Oscorp lab and holds Dr. Connors and Norman hostage. He even tells Norman to his face that Harry is gone and he is his son now. Okay? Still following me? Good. So then Norman asks Spider-Man to, quote, please save his boy, right? So what happens at the end of the game? The Spider-Men not only get the suit off of Harry, but actually bring him back to life. Basically going full circle, right back to where they started with Harry now needing a new cure. So then that begs the question, what the hell is Norman mad at Spider-Man about? They saved Harry's life. Harry is still alive at the end of the game, but yet for some reason you have Norman going around telling Otto of all people that the Spider-Man ruined your son?
What do you want?
The Spider-Men. You know who they are, don't you?
Why?
They ruined my son.
What? What are you talking about?
And let me tell you something, if this ends up being the reason why Norman Osborn becomes Green Goblin and tries to kill Spider-Man in the sequel...
Well, that's just lazy writing.
Alright, so that basically sums up most of my thoughts, pros and cons about Marvel Spider-Man 2. I know it may have sounded like at times that I hated this game or I didn't like it, but that is the furthest from the truth. I really do like this game. Obviously, I played it for over 70 plus hours since its launch, and I plan to play it for many more hours post-launch. However, I do have my problems with the game, and like I said at the beginning of this video, my criticisms come from a place of love, because I only want the game to be better. I want only the best for not only myself, but for the other Spider-Man fans out there. And if we just go around walking on eggshells all the time saying everything is awesome, everything is great, then we're never going to see any improvements in the future. It's our job as fans to praise the good and criticize the bad. Now, for my final score, I'm gonna have to give this game 2 ratings. The first rating is at the game's launch and its current state. So basically how the game is right now. All things considered, the gameplay, the story, the graphics, and the bugs, because yes, this was the most buggy Insomniac Spider-Man game I've played thus far. In my 70 plus hours, I've encountered times where random crimes would just disappear as soon as I got to them. During my first playthrough, an enemy got stuck behind a wall and I had to restart from my last checkpoint. During my second playthrough, my PS5 hard crashed, not once, not twice, but 3 times. So, considering all of that, at this game's current state, I'm going to have to give this game a score of 7 out of 10, which is good, but needs improvements. Now, once they patch out all the game-breaking bugs that are in this game, once they give us New Game Plus, once they give us the ability to replay missions, which is weird that that wasn't there at launch, but once they add more challenge maps, you know, because Miles has the Mysterio challenge maps and Peter has none, then I can easily bump this game score up to an 8 out of 10. So, as of right now, it's a 7 out of 10 for me, with the potential to become an 8 out of 10 after Insomniac addresses some of the bugs and missing features. And for the record, I gave the first game a 9 out of 10, so this game is a bit of a step backwards, especially in the story department, but it's definitely a step forward in the gameplay department. So with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative. What are your thoughts on this game? Be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Once again, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the network, and turn on notifications. And until next time, I'm ELT, signing OUT.